Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we are looking at this time is the Shibata Kotetsu R-2 Gyuto 240mm knife. This particular one has a custom handle on it from Ben's Bites, and we'll get to that. But this line uses a core steel of R-2 powdered metallurgy full stainless steel. They try to heat treat that around 62 to 63 Rockwell. The construction is 3 layers, so on either side of that core steel you've got a softer stainless cladding, and they're machine finish. You can see that with the belt. At least I believe they're machine finished. It kind of looks like it, but these knives in general are high performance. They're thin, really well finished. I've got the 175 Bunka from this line. It's a great knife, really an awesome knife. So these are kind of laser style knives with just enough meat to the blade to do a little bit of convexing, so the food release is reasonable for the thinness that the knife is. But the weight on this particular one is 175 grams and 6.2 ounces. That could change a little with the stock handle versus this custom handle. Edge length is about 235 millimeters, or about 9 1/4 inches, and the overall length on this one with this handle is about 402 millimeters. They are pretty thin, as I mentioned, so the spine thickness coming out of the handle is about 2 millimeters on this, and then I measured it halfway down. It's about 2 millimeters, and it pretty much just kind of keeps that until you hit this turn here on the reverse sword tip, and then you can see it thins out nicely right at the grind on the very edge or the very tip. Blade height is about 49.7 on this, so they're around the 50-ish range, maybe slightly under, so plenty of height. And the stock handle is going to be an octagonal rosewood with the black packawood ferrule, 76 millimeters, circumference of 3 inches where the ferrule meets the rosewood on the standard handle. This particular one, let's take a close-up look at it, is by one of the Chef Knives to Go forum handle makers. The company is Ben's Bites, and he kind of specializes in lighter weight handles with non-stabilized wood. He likes a kind of forward balance point on his knives, so he said it all started from making his own handles to try to get the balance points that he wanted, so that's his specialty, and that fits this knife really well since the blade's not very heavy. The woods that he's using in this particular handle are walnut for the main part of the handle, maple spacers, and the ferrule and butt cap are wenge. And I can tell you this is a very nice handle job. It's very smooth all the way around, crisp facets on all the sides of the knife or the handle, crisp and nice tight and stall. It's just really well done. Nice sanding job. Not too smooth, not too rough. It's fairly smooth, but not slick smooth. Kind of semi-slick, but just still get a lot of grip with it. I think he puts a finish oil, or I'm not sure. I'd have to see what he does on these, but I think he's got a little bit of a finish oil or tongue oil or something on there. It feels like it, but just a really, really nice job on the handle. With this particular handle, the balance point is just what he likes to do. It's pretty much right there on a pinch grip, maybe just slightly forward of that for me. My hands aren't that big, and so that gives the hand, the knife, which is fairly light, a little bit of blade forward feel to it for some cutting power. So objective accomplished in this case. Let's take a look at, let's just look at the blade itself. So these look like they have a machine finish on them. I've got the 175 Bunka from this line. It's a great performing knife, and this should be as well. They're all thin. They're great performers, nice geometry. You've got, machine finish. You've got, it's not a chiseling. The blades are so thin, they tried chiseling with the little chisels for the hand chisel job, and the blades were too thin, and they would hit the core steel. So they've got some kind of mechanical machine that does create an indented kanji on there, but they didn't want to go too far into the metal and hit that core steel, so that's the technique they use. But it's very crisp and very nicely done. It's very precise to kind of fit the aesthetic of the blade. You've got a little bit of convexing down to the edge. You can see that pretty effectively here in the lighting, and so they make the most of that 2 millimeter spine, and the food release is actually pretty good for this style of blade. Sometimes these style of blades can be pretty darn sticky, and it depends on the ingredients you're cutting up, but they do a lot with that in terms of the convexing, and the edge is really thin, right at the edge as far as the grind goes, the geometry, so nicely done. Fit and finish is excellent. Polished rounded spine, polished rounded choil. 7 out of 10 I'll give it on the out-of-box edge. They have a real nice crisp edge on it. And let's see, I did the balance point. Let's take a look at the cutting board. You can see they've got a nice gentle curve, so you got room to put your finger there in a pinch grip. Profiles are generally pretty flat on these. That's their style. So you've got a lot of, very low belly. It's not a huge flat spot in terms of this boom, but you got quite a bit of flat. Trying to give my camera something to focus on here. Quite a bit of flat towards the last half or maybe third of the blade. You kind of come into a stop, but it's not like a super abrupt stop. And then a very low point. So the point is very low in relation to the center line of the knife. And you can see I'm not going to get real high. Actually, I get pretty high. This will rock fine over carrots, reasonable sized carrots, low stuff, chives, scallions, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be a huge rocker for tall stuff, but they're not meant to be. So this should do well for choppers, push-pull cutters, glide cutters, low rocking. Very smooth profile. Consistently, these blades are straight, well-crafted, nice smooth edge profiles. Just do a great job on them. So if you're looking for something all stainless with excellent edge retention, something light, nimble, very, very high performance, this might be something to look into. The blades themselves are, they're not like super duper stiff, but they're pretty stiff considering the thinness of the blade. And so they have a nice, pretty confident feel on the board. So there you have the Shibata Kotetsu R-2 Gyuto 240mm. This one with a custom handle by Ben's Bites.